start with the prayer. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, so we started a new topic a couple of weeks ago. We repeated one class because it was a slightly complicated session. The topic was on moksha, on how you could get away from it. But there were a few other things I wanted to discuss with you before we moved on. Before we started reading the verses, I wanted to introduce some terminology. All right, so let me start with the terminology raga and dvesha. So the terms, the first two terms, raga and dvesha. All right. So imagine this. We discussed karma, right? So karma is, we're talking about karma yoga. So karma does become a part of everything we do here. So when you're born with some certain karmas, you have certain vasanas which dictate what you like, what you don't like. So these tendencies that you're born with as a result of your karmas, they kind of tell you which direction to go, right? Not directly, but it tells you you're interested in this, you're not interested in this. So raga is basically something that drives you to in one direction. You want, say for instance, you love a particular sport, right? You've played it for the first time, you like it, you ask your parents, can I play that again? Can I do that again? That is called raga, right? It can be anywhere from like to passion. So this is raga. There was a story I recently came across, and it was an interesting one. This lady is 56 when the interview was done. Apparently, about 4 years ago or 5 years ago, she was suffering from joint pains. And because of her joint pains, she wasn't able to do much at home. And this was a lady in Tamil Nadu, India. I think if you go online and Google, you'll see this lady's story. This lady was told by the doctors that she may have to get an operation. Operation in sense to try and fix the pain, maybe a replacement surgery or put some cartilage in between or something like that. Anyway, I don't know the details of the operation, but she's being told that she needs to undergo some sort of an operation because she's finding it really difficult to walk and do things. Her son, who's an adult now, he's been trying to find different ways to help her. Finally, what he did was he used to visit a gym. So what he did was he took his mother to his gym. She was wearing a sari. So this lady is always in a sari. She goes with him to the gym and she starts lifting weights. She starts doing some small exercises and starts lifting small weights. Over the next 3 to 4 months, she increases the intensity, and over the next 4 months or maybe 6 months, if I'm not mistaken, the pain in her joints reduces dramatically and she's able to do a lot more. Now, 4 or 5 years down the line, this lady is regular at the gym, not just regular at the gym, but she's participated in some competitions. Initially, apparently, she wasn't allowed to participate in competitions because she would only participate with a sari. So then there were other competitions which were created by her son, who started his own gym, by the way. And she was allowed to participate in that, and she won a number of tournaments because of that. So this lady, even today, uh, she participates in competitions, and she's a weightlifter. So why am I telling you this? She had a tendency which was not realized till she was about 52. Once she realized she had this passion for weightlifting, for exercise, she started doing it regularly. She wanted more and more and more of it. So this is called raga. Okay. Today she's actually entering competitions and she's winning those competitions in her age group, her weight group, or whatever that was. So this is, I just wanted to tell you the story that you can start a passion anytime in your life. There are stories about, uh, I think this is quite popular. Uh, there's a gentleman by the name Ray Kroc in the US. There was another guy who started the McDonald's restaurant, but at the age of some 55 or 60, close to 60 maybe, this guy by the name Ray Kroc saw some potential in that restaurant. He bought that restaurant of the original owner, who was named McDonald, I think, and he made a chain out of it. Now they have what, a few thousand, if I'm not mistaken, about 35,000 McDonald restaurants around the world. So he's taken on a passion at that age. So people can pick up on a tendency anytime in their life. So, but you need some sort of a trigger for that. Anyway, so this is, I thought that was interesting to explain that because some real life story, and it gives you an idea of what raga is. Dvesha is exactly the opposite. You run away from something. All right. So you don't like something, you go away from it. Uh, there are many instances of where uh, parents are really poor, but the son or the daughter has become really successful. Right. You look at some other people who have successful parents, but the kids are completely uh, messed up. They don't have a direction in life or anything like that. And that's because they don't like what their parents have become. They want to be something different. So this is Dvesha. This is saying, I don't want to be like this. I don't want like this. I don't like this. Okay. So they're running away from these things. That's Dvesha. If you look at it, your entire life, everything that you do is based on raga and dvesha. You do things that you like, and you do things that, and you run away things from things that you don't like. Of course, there are things that you're forced to do, even though you don't like it. So you try and make changes wherever you can, or you adopt to it. You're forced to do it because it's a part of your job, or it's your parents' instruction, or you have to do this. Okay, so that's a different scenario, but it is still tuition. You're doing it reluctantly. You don't like it. Doesn't it just means that you're doing it for the short term, you may not do it in the future. So that's tuition. Now, what other aspects dictate the direction of your life? So everyone has goals, right? And it is your vasanas that tell you to go in a certain direction. You like this, you do it. So what sort of direction do you take? What sort of goals in life do you have? Okay. For some people, it's just right now where I am, I'm happy. Am I happy or am I sad? That's all they look at. So these people are uh, uh, looking at instant pleasure where they can. So, so they're following something called karma. Okay. This is a part of the Purusharthas. So Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. I'm going to explain these. So we discussed Moksha last week and the week before. Now we're going to talk about the other three. So Kama is something you're looking for kind of instant pleasure. It could be anywhere from instant pleasure to lust. And lust is something you're obsessed with it and you have to do it now. So that's Kama. What's artha? Artha is a more economics term. It says you're looking at your life in the future, and you're not just looking at, okay, I'm going to have an ice cream and I'm happy. That is instant, which is you have a desire right now, you want it fulfilled, you'll get the pleasure, you're going shopping therapy, all that is instant pleasure. Right now, am I happy or not? That's what you're looking at. Whereas what happens is your parents, myself, we go to work. Why? So we can make some money. We buy a house. Why? So we can retire in it. We can pay off the bill. We don't have to worry about renting in 20 years' time, 30 years' time when we retire. So we're looking at pleasure in a slightly longer term. Okay. So this is where artha comes in. So you're looking at pleasure not just now, but you're looking at something down the line, and you're probably even planning till you pass away from this world. So this is artha. Where does dharma stand? This is where you're starting to look beyond this life. You're saying, okay, I'm going to behave like this. I'm going to perform certain karmas. I'm going to perform certain rituals. Why? So I can have a better life next time. So you're looking at dharma from here. You're looking at much longer scenarios in life. But you're looking at pleasure in the long term much more than just this life. So that's dharma. Now, everywhere you go, you're not satisfied with your desire. So say for instance, you have an ice cream now, tomorrow you want something more. You have a small phone now, you want a bigger phone, you want a laptop, you want something else. These desires never end. You've gone shopping, window shopping, not enough. I need to buy something. So you desire something. If you can't afford it, you don't buy it. But if you can afford it, you'll go and buy it. You are looking at constant pleasure. And these desires never end. This is where moksha comes in. Moksha is the ultimate desire. There's nothing beyond that. So you're looking at karma, short term. You're looking at artha, you're probably looking at 20 years to your death. You're looking at dharma, you're looking at multiple lives now. But none of this is permanent. Moksha, on the other hand, is permanent. And there's no bigger desire than moksha. So I just wanted to tell you what sort of goals of life people have, and you'll find individuals in all these different phases. Some are very good planners, they want to plan for the future. Some are just happy living day to day. They get a paycheck at the end of the week, they go pubbing, they have fun, they spend all the money, and then they go back to work next week to earn more money. That's their living day to day. That's karma. Artha, people are now starting to plan for their future. Okay? You need to decide how far you want to go. Dharma is again, you're looking at having good life, not just this life, but the next life too. So you start doing things the right way now. So you can think about it. Okay, this is my family. This is how I am. This is where I want to be in the next few years. And a lot of people come in this category. They don't think about the next life. So then there are a few that filter out. You have for the next life. And then you have very few that are actually going towards the moksha, a path of moksha. Now, in the last class, we did one verse which discussed Buddhi Yoga. I'm not sure if I addressed what it was, but here it is. Okay, so Buddhi Yoga, the reason Lord Krishna starts with Buddhi Yoga over here is he's talking about the intellect, he's talking about the attitude. And later on, he terms this as Karma Yoga. The reason he does not use Karma Yoga here is till then, people have been using using the word karma in a yajna sense, action sense. So they would perform yajnas and and even in the Vedas, This is called the karma kanda, where you are using rituals to attain a better life. Attain not better life, not just this life, but you want to go into heaven next. This is all temporary. So this is what Lord Krishna is explaining in these verses. So you are looking at karma yoga from that point of view in the first couple of verses, and then later on he starts bringing karma yoga. So does anyone have questions here before I move on? Okay, so let's start, repeat verse 39 quickly, and then 41 and 40, 40 and 41, they kind of go together, so I'll explain that after this. If you can repeat after me. Eshate
Esha
Abhihita
Abhihita
Sankhye
Sankhye
Buddhi Yoge
Yoge
Tu Imam
Imam
Prunu Buddhya Yukto Yaya Partha Karma Bandham Hasyasi.
Asyasi.
So I'll just explain this verse, then we'll go on to the next two verses. So here he's Lord Krishna is saying, okay, so far whatever I've explained is Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga is, in this context, it is knowledge. So I've taught you the knowledge of yoga. So how you behave. So if you remember, he's spoken about the Atma, he's spoken about the moving subtle body from one body to the next. He's spoken about that. He talks about this as a Kshatriya, what he has to do, and what are the bad effects of it if he doesn't perform his duty. So far I've only given you knowledge. So then then now he comes to this and he says, okay, now listen to me, O Partha, O Arjuna, I'm going to reveal to you what Buddhi Yoga is. So he's talking about Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi is intellect. So here he wants to start addressing intellect and how your attitude is very important in what you do. So this is where he starts Karma Yoga. So what Lord Krishna is saying, when you work with this understanding, you will be freed from the bondage of karma. And this is what we're talking about when we're talking, when we discuss moksha. We're talking about going beyond our dharma, artha, and kama. Okay. So now let's go on to the verses 40 and 41. So if you can repeat after me. Na iha
Na iha
abhikrama
Brahma
asha
Sha
asti
Asti
pratyavayo
Pratyavaha
vidyate.
Vidyate
Swalpam
Swalpam
api asya
Api Asya
dharmasya
Dharmasya
trayate
Drayate
mahato
Mahato
bhayat.
Bhayat.
The words in this one are slightly bigger, so I'll try and pronounce it as well as I can. So the first one is Vyavasaya Atmika.
Vyavasaya Atmika.
Buddhi
Buddhi
Eka Iha
Eka Hiya
Kuru Nandana
Guru Nandana
Bahu
Bahu
Shakha
Shaka
Ki Ananta
Ananta
Cha
Kya
Buddhayo.
Buddhayo
Okay, this one's another big one. Avyava. I'll break it up. Avyava
Avyava
Sayinam.
Sainam.
So now, all right. So this one, he's talking about. All right. You know how I told you earlier that in the past people were doing yajnas. Yajnas rituals. So you have a step-by-step process. And if you remember Lord Yama's, the story I told your Yama and Nachiketa, Nachiketa is advised on how to perform a certain yajna, which is named after him at the end of it. And there's a step-by-step process. Imagine there's 100 steps, all right? And on the 99th step, you make a mistake. The entire process needs to be repeated because it's a waste. Okay? So the reference of here is what Lord Krishna is saying in Karma Yoga. Okay? The effort you put is not wasted. Whereas the one in the yajna, the rituals, it can go wasted. So he starts off by saying that. And he says, it's like we discussed. What you do now, every little effort adds up. Okay? And you reap the benefits of it. Here, I guess let's talk about gardening, just as an example, right? It depends on, say, for instance, you like gardening and you go into the garden, you put some seeds, put some effort into it, start pouring water into it. It gives you the desired, it gives you the fruits of your labor. What I mean by that. So, say, for instance, you put seeds of a vegetable plant or a flowering plant or that of a weed. It depends on what you select, you get that out of it. The same way, the efforts you put in your life, it's not wasted. It gives you what you put in. You don't take care of the plants, you will not get the plants at all. You don't put any effort, you won't get anything. So this is what Lord Krishna is saying. So the Buddhi Yoga is a little different to what the ancients used to call Karma Yoga. Okay, I know I'm mixing up the Karma and Buddhi Yoga, but like I said, initially Lord Krishna starts with Buddhi Yoga. Buddhi Yoga then later on is termed as Karma Yoga. In fact, third chapter is called Karma Yoga. Anyway, I don't want to confuse you any further, but in saying it's a natural order, it doesn't have to uh, follow that rigid rituals that you do, that you are used to, people are used to. You don't have to do the same. You can put as much effort as you want or as little effort as you want. And this goes on to the next verse, which says, all right, we're talking about effort here. Let's think about it this way, right? If you put very little effort, you get very little out of it. You put more, you get more out of it. He moves this one step further. He says it also depends on how focused you are. Now imagine you have a piece of paper and you put it out in the sun, right? It just reflects all the light. Now, instead of using that, you use a lens. I think you all are aware of using lenses. The sunlight that comes through it becomes very focused and it can burn the paper. So what he's trying to say is now he's moving beyond just effort. He's saying you need to be uh, single-minded when you're going into something for you to be successful. Not just effort, but you also need to be going single-minded. If you don't have the effort, if you don't have the single-mindedness, then you're all over the place. You don't have direction. You will be, it's like a tree with a lot of branches. You don't know which branch to hang off. Okay, there's countless branches and you can go anywhere. You can find uh, any number of things that you are probably good at, but you're not good at anything because you haven't focused, you haven't put, you haven't taken a certain direction, or you haven't put any effort in.